What's good, guys? It is me, Guapo, and I have a special guest today. This is Nachisu Miku. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Nachisu Miku. I do a live stream and other stuff.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of controversy about you. I was kind of scared to get you on the podcast, to be honest, but I figured, fuck it, I'm gonna get you on anyways because it's gonna make people talk. Um, is there anything
Hell
that
yeah.
you would like to start the stream off? But oh yeah, okay. Actually, I do have I put a disclaimer up. I made one earlier because I know that this shit is probably gonna get really fucking really controversial. So I put a disclaimer at the start of the video that says we don't promote any like hate or anything like that, and these are all just opinions. So I want to make that very clear before anybody
Yes,
says
of course
anything.
not.
All right, cool. So I have a bunch of questions. Um, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are pretty personal, and I'm just gonna be blunt with it. So honestly, like just because of the fact that you were talking about the Charlie Kirk memorial, I'm curious to know what your opinion on that was, just before we get into anything crazy.
And I thought the whole thing was kind of nice. It was a little bit of like a political, almost like campaign-like thing, a little bit, somewhat. But I thought it was really nice. Erica Kirk's speech was very powerful. Yeah, I did really enjoy it though. I know. Did you watch some of it?
Yeah, I watched I watched the whole Erica Kirk speech, and then the rest of like everything that Trump said. That was really like I just started when Erica was speaking. I think the thing that really stood out to me personally was she forgave his killer. I thought that was crazy.
Yeah. She's stronger than I would. You know, Trump had a funny moment where he said like, yeah, I don't like my enemies, so I kind of agree with that. But no, that's definitely the Christian thing to do, is to forgive, and yeah, I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah. Um yeah, I
Better
guess
person than I am.
oh for sure. I'm trying to honestly like I'm trying to myself get more into Christian values because I feel like social media has like really corrupted everybody's minds, and um I a lot of people watching this will know that I kind of have a history of being a degenerate online, and I've been trying to change that recently. But I think that honestly like Charlie Kirk's passing really helped me like I guess see the light um and like really reinforce my values with God. I'm trying to be more like in tune with that kind of stuff, to be honest. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, I do agree with you that the speech was really powerful. It touched me for sure. I teared up a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I do believe in Christian traditional values. So I mean, it's I think you're not alone with a lot of people waking up that, maybe,
So
I don't know.
I'm not okay. So like I said, a lot of these questions I have planned are pretty controversial, but I'm gonna start off kind of light. Um, so my first one here is, what do you think about corporations within the streaming industry, specifically VTubing? Just corporations in general.
Uh, I mean, I haven't been around the VTubing scene like super long, but just from all the controversies, because that's kind of when I started getting into it, was when I think, Gargoyle retired and started anew, and Bishojo collapsed. So, I mean, from what I understand, is that corporations in the VTubing space are not that great. I think the only decent one I've heard of is Face Connect, but I
Yes,
think it's probably a lot easier nowadays than how it was, I guess, when it was coming up to go indie and do an indie thing. Um, I mean, even just for me, I made my 2D model myself. They are still pretty expensive,
mm.
but
Oh yeah, you did rig it
anybody,
actually.
there's plenty of tutorials out there, so
Forgot you
yeah.
said that.
It's mostly AI. I used Photoshop to kind of to splice up all the pieces.
Mhm.
and put some of it together. But yeah, I did all the rigging myself, and people have said my rigging sucks, and that's okay. I did it in like 5 days, so
You
not the
still get
greatest,
more
but it got
views
the
than
job
them.
done. And
Fuck them.
yeah, it's true. And I wanted to do it quick because I didn't want to spend a lot of time being one of those people where it's like I'm a pre-debut VTuber. I just wanted to get to making content very
Yeah,
fast. I didn't want to wait around.
I feel that. I was gonna say my opinion with corporate, just from everything that I've seen, because I've been kind of tapped in with the VTuber scene for a decent while. I guess on the back end of things, I've just known a lot of people. Um, I think that, well, honestly, corporations everywhere, and not just the streaming industry specifically, but I definitely see it a lot more within the streaming industry now. Kind of similar to how the music industry is, but it's just getting worse and worse. I think that a lot of CEOs of these corporations are very evil people, and I think they're almost like banking on the fact that a lot of the people that they hire to be like the entertainers or whatever are very mentally unstable people, and it puts them in, it puts them in the spotlight, and a lot of people like that aren't ready for that, and they don't really know how to handle it, obviously. So I think the corporations almost like take advantage of that and just keep abusing that power to get more money, because the corporations are definitely making a lot more money than the actual talents are.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would be curious to know like what kind of contracts they sign, like how much do they pay, how much do the corporations take, and stuff like that. I have no idea about any of that,
Yeah,
but it would be interesting.
my best example, because I'm really like, I mean, I'm kind of tapped into the VTuber scene, but I'm more tapped in with the music scene. I know labels are like notorious for just signing people's souls away. I mean, that's all it is for real. Like you
Yeah,
think that these
basically.
people with all these numbers are getting like millions and millions of dollars, but like that's not the reality of it at all. The people behind the numbers are the ones that are actually making the money. The artist is just the product. People don't really realize that the artist is the product that's
Right.
being used. The real money is going to the people that control it, and I think people need to kind of, I guess, take that into consideration more, especially if you're a person watching this that wants to be in the spotlight, or might ever come across something in the future where you're granted like this crazy opportunity. Always talk to a lawyer first, because they will tell you what's good and what's bad. Trust me.
It is. You can talk to a lot of lawyers pretty much free. Some do
Yeah.
like a free consultation. It's always a good idea. But I think for the most part, you what do you really need like a corporation for? Like
um I would
maybe
say
you could get a couple people to like help you manage some stuff, but other than that, what do you really need them for nowadays?
so. The thing with corporations is a lot of it's greed. They kind of like brainwash you into thinking like, oh, you're the next big star, right? Like that's the first thing they'll always. It's just brainwashing. Um, Corporations are good for a few things. I will be honest, because they kind of usually help you build more connections. Like they are kind of the gateway into like the industry or whatever you want to call it, and they help you get brand deals, and also with management. Like if you say something that they don't want you to say, they'll be like, hey, you need to delete this, or like, hey, don't say that, because like if you get like a, for example, Kanye
How do
West,
they
right?
handle that?
Kanye West had a, what was it? It was a contract with Adidas, wasn't it? And he lost that pretty recently because of
Yeah,
everything he's been saying. That's all corporations are really good for, just connections and brand deals. They just help you build those. But if you know what you're doing, you really don't need a corporation.
yeah. If you're new, try going the indie route first before you dive into some corporation.
For sure.
But um,
Will be taken advantage of. Were you gonna add on to that?
yeah, I know for sure that I would never be accepted in any corporation, so I just never even considered that. I
You don't
kind
know
of knew
that.
starting out with my thing that, well, I mean, yeah, I seriously doubt it. But I always said, yeah, I started off doing it knowing I would be pretty much hated virtually everywhere, so.
The only thing that they really care about is your ability to attract. For example, I talked to an A&R that worked for Interscope, and he literally told me, he was like, the music is fire, but You need to have at least 30,000 monthly listeners. Like, if you had 30,000 monthly listeners, we'd sign you. But you just need to get your numbers up. Like, that's literally all it is. You just need to get your numbers up.
Yeah, I think that is actually rather difficult to do. Because I think most people that kind of go viral, they usually get like 1 or 2 songs that go viral. But a lot of times they don't get a lot of like subscriber growth, I guess you could say. Same on Twitter, like some people have some like insane tweets where they get millions of views, but you look at their profile and they have like 100 followers. Like that was
Yeah.
somebody who made kind of like a hate post, a hate tweet against me. They had like 8 million views on the tweet, but they only had 30 followers. So I was like, how does that not convert, you know? So
That's
getting to the point where you have like a good subscriber base is not super easy to do.
I was gonna say that's a big reason why consistency is so important, because there will like literally be months where you're posting every single day and you're only getting like 100 views, 5 likes. But like if you just keep that consistency up, you will build a foundation of like supporters that know like when to expect something from you. And as long as you stay consistent to whatever you've been posting, like they'll keep supporting that. Which I've noticed a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was pretty consistent with doing like good morning posts. I kind of fell off on that since my whole controversy, but I definitely want to start doing that again. But good morning posts on Twitter, those do pretty well actually. People like just saying good morning to each other, so.
Speaking about controversy, what do you think about the controversy that you are surrounded with currently? What's your opinion on it?
I mean, some of it is warranted, some of it not so much. You know, I had the thing where, you know, people found out that I wasn't female, which, yeah, I made a huge mistake with that. I'll admit that, and I do regret that not being upfront with people about that. But, you know, the idea was to kind of make the character its own thing. You know, I was very new to VTubing, so I had no idea that people really cared that much about who was behind the cartoon character. You know, I viewed it as literally just a cartoon. I didn't think of it much more than that, but you know, I'm learning, and you know, I made a mistake, and now going forward with that, I put on my profile that I'm a babaniku, which I guess is a word for basically a male that uses a female avatar.
Yeah.
Then I put it like in all my terms, or like in my about me page and stuff like that.
With everything surrounding you, I think I asked you about this a little bit in call, just to talk about like, I guess just to see who you were as a person before I worked with you. What exactly like, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know this that are watching. I know a lot of people care about everything that's going on with you right now, and a lot of people are curious. What exactly do you have planned for the future of this character? Like, do you want to stay? You know what you've been doing. Like what do you want to do? What do you want people to know that you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't really have like a grand plan. For the most part, I do this just for fun because I think it's interesting and a cool medium to do like creative stuff. But for the most part, I just like to do the political, you know, takes on things, on the news and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people I think nowadays like the talk show type stuff, like kind of how we're doing here, versus like just gaming content, because you know there's a million bajillion people doing gaming content out there. Not to say that that's, you know, bad. You just have to. It's just harder to find uniqueness in that area. And I think if you can have some kind of original political takes on stuff, and maybe just, I don't know, general takes on life and stuff, you can do pretty well. People like to listen to people talk because I think it helps expand their minds too.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, no real like grand plan. I mean, I'm kind of figuring that out pretty much every day. Like even doing this stream in VR chat, this is brand new to me. Like obviously I don't have my own avatar, but that would be something I'd like to have. Is like a custom avatar, custom Miku avatar. That'd be really sick.
You heard it here first.
Yeah,
If you guys
keep doing new things.
If you guys know how to make avatars, hit up Miku. He needs one bad.
Yeah. I need my well, I'm not gonna say, because I'm gonna keep it you know, terms of
You
service
just
for
say
me.
it.
But yeah,
Just
I
say it.
just need an
I'm
avatar.
posting this on Rumple.
I guess I was just gonna say I need my Nazi anime girl V avatar.
What
But
what was that
and
one
I also need to
VTuber?
get a headset eventually.
What was her name? Shondo. I think you kind of talked about her a little bit. She
Shondo,
stole it.
yeah.
You want to call her out on the fucking podcast? Why'd you steal?
She stole
Why'd you
it.
steal this person's idea?
Yeah, why'd you steal my idea? No, no, I said this on a YouTube comment, which is like I don't believe she stole it, but it is
No, fuck that.
very
She stole it.
funny how
Content.
similar it is. But I do really like her character outfit. I think it's badass. And you know, some people were saying like oh, you're a Shondo fan now. It's like, well, I've seen a few clips and stuff. I wouldn't quite say I'm a like super huge fan, but I find her very interesting. I find her dictatorship thing kind of interesting.
What
and
is her
funny, and, you know,
dictatorship
if it,
thing? I
if
don't
it
really know.
kinda, I think she's just going with the look of a dictator. That's how her character's design is she's a dictator, but it looks very fascist. I mean, she even has an armband and stuff. So, I mean, you know, I kind of support, you know, leaning more that way. So if it gets people kind of thinking about that stuff, I say go for it. More power to her.
Do you you were the first. You did that before her, weren't you?
I would say so. I don't know. There might have been other people that did it, but I think I was kind of the first one to really go like all the way with it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
honestly,
hers
bro.
is
Like,
even still, you could argue hers is still kind of like a joke, but I take it a little bit more seriously.
I would take every opportunity that I had if I was you to just like milk the fuck out of that as much as you can. Because if you were the first one before her, you gotta milk that content, bro. Like, just start telling everyone she stole
I
it.
was the only one that can do the Sig Heil salute, so.
Yours is or hers is?
And mine is.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're not gonna find another VTuber where their model is able to Sig Heil, unless it's in VR chat, but like a 2D model, because no one's gonna make that for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody would make that. Unless you paid them like an absurd amount of money.
I was kind of surprised that she found someone to even get that close to it, but
She probably. Oh, that is
out there.
that is a good topic. I wonder how she did get that made. If you're watching this, no, she's not gonna leak the sauce. She ain't leaking that shit.
Yeah, I had a big problem with a platform called Degen where people were like making fake commission requests for me, and I eventually found a couple artists that were actually willing to do the work off the fake commission. And the way they kind of said it is like, you know, it's just business for them. They don't really care what it's about, and I kind of respect that.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if the money's good, you know, who cares what it's about? I agree with that. But it's very expensive to do that. I would like to do that in the future. Also, get like a very nice 2D model, which would be very cool. But yeah, very expensive. So I'm kind of trying to set aside money for that in the future. But
For sure. I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know if you've been asked this direct before. Tell me if I'm wrong, but what do you think about the LGBT community?
oh yeah, that is a pretty big question. I mean, I obviously don't like it. You know, I disagree with being homosexual. I think it's wrong. But I do have, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't quite say direct friends, but I've known people that are like that, and it's, in most cases I don't like attack them for it, but they're very aware that I disagree with their lifestyle, and I try not to just like outright attack people. I like to attack the ideology versus people directly.
For sure, for sure. I know, what was it? I guess this leads on to another question that I had, and you can obviously interpret this however you want it. But do you think that people in the LGBT community, do you think that is a mental health issue?
Yes, definitely, for sure. I mean, especially towards the transgender stuff. I mean, Um, yeah, definitely mental health. I mean, there's a big problem in your mind if you believe you're not what you physically are. Um, and it's been proven that, that spirals out of control and it just gets worse and worse. And usually doing like surgeries and stuff to change your body, it's not gonna fix what's going on in your head. You need mental health for that type of stuff.
I'm gonna take the cat out of the bag for this episode. I used to think that I was trans,
Let's
and
go.
it's a big reason as to why I used to hide my voice so much because I was scared of being judged. But again, recently with like the Charlie Kirk stuff and all of that, well, honestly, it's been a little bit longer than that, but I guess just that really helped push me into the direction of reforming, and obviously finding God as well. I do actually agree with you, and I will say this publicly. Coming from a person that used to believe that they were trans, I do agree with you. I do think that it is a mental health issue, and I don't say that to attack the trans community at all. I actually sympathize with you guys because I've felt that before, but it is so much healthier if you just if you just take the steps into um trying to feel comfortable with the gender that you were born as. It's so much better. It really is. And you just get out of the negative mind space of like constantly like being worried about every like what everybody thinks of you and like how people perceive you. It's so much better.
Inducing all the time. Um, what I will say, yeah, is it's much more relaxing to just accept who you are. But I think it's all right if guys kind of like enjoy something that may be kind of girlish or kind of like tomboys type deal for girls. And I do believe that there's something like that for guys, which you could call a femboy, but I do believe there are femboys who are straight.
I was gonna say I think it's fine to have feminine features. Like I mean, I was raised by females my whole life, so I think naturally I kind of just like have more feminine characteristics. But like that being said, like I think honestly that's the manliest thing that you can do, being comfortable with your own gender, but like being able to just do whatever the fuck you want because you're comfortable with it. I feel like that shit's manly as fuck.
Yeah, and obviously it's to a certain point, I think. But I will also say, I think there's a very big distortion on like what people mean when you say you love somebody. Like that you can have love with a family member, and it's like that's not a sexual thing. But there's a
Oh, for
distortion
sure.
between what is sexual love and just loving a person. And I think it's okay if guys like love their friends,
For sure,
but it doesn't have to
100%.
be a sexual type of love. Like you just care about them as a person and stuff. But I think a lot of that gets distorted. Like people can't tell the difference. When they
Normalize
say like
telling
love
your
is love,
friends that
it's
you
like
love them.
okay, yeah, yeah, based. That's based. It's okay to care about your friends. It doesn't mean you want to have sex with them or something weird.
Yeah.
Some of these nuanced discussions need to be had, especially for the younger generation. I mean, they've just been, berated with propaganda and stuff, and how do you know what to believe if you're young?
Hmm.
Yeah, I say this to people all the time. It's like when you're young, you don't know fire is hot until you burn yourself. That's how you learn. So,
Facts. Um,
sometimes you gotta learn things. But
are you saying that you had to burn yourself?
man, now I know. I mean, I did have a friend who ended up being gay, and um, wanted like a relationship with me. But yeah, just we stopped being friends after that, and yeah, that was a long time ago. I haven't talked to that guy in years, but you know, yeah, I would say I got burned in that sense. It's kind of rough losing a friend in that way,
Yeah.
but
What was your childhood like
yeah,
growing
I'll
up?
let you know if something. What was my childhood like?
To make it more concise, I guess, what kind
I
of kid were you in school? Were you quiet? Were you, you know,
Yeah, it was definitely
disruptive?
one of the more quiet ones.
Okay.
I was kind of like Yeah, quiet. I moved around a lot. Like, I think I moved like 13 times just like between middle school and high school. So it was like, I was always kind of like the new kid, and in a way that like worked because everyone kind of wanted to like hang out with the new kid, and you know, I was kind of cool with it. I mean, I'm not saying like I was super popular or anything, but I was chill, you know, and made a bunch of friends that way. But yeah, it was always kind of rough, like being a new person and everywhere. But yeah, we bounced around a lot. So, and I had three brothers, so we kind of beat the shit out of each other all the time.
Thanks.
So my childhood was kind of rough.
That's a
Um,
that's an interesting. I
but
actually my childhood was kind of similar. Um my dad wasn't a very good person when I was growing up. He did a lot of like really fucked up shit to my mom. So, I mean, he's still in the picture, but I just don't really see him very often. I was gonna say that I related to you saying that you and your brothers or whatever beat each other up a lot because I feel like a lot of my childhood was okay. So I was a disruptive kid growing up. I like to pick fights with people. I like to just cause disruption like literally everywhere I went. I always had a natural talent for like I guess pissing people off, and that's kind of why I'm doing this because I'm just good at it. Um, but yeah, I was the
nice.
type of kid that would like go around and like break people's windows of their cars and shit like that. Just fucking stupid ass shit. Um, and then another
Yeah,
thing that I like
I've
to
had
do
friends
is
like you.
um, I like to feel pain. So like I will never turn down a fight with somebody in real life. I seem soft. Like if you've seen pictures of me, I look like a soft ass fucking kid. Dude, I promise you, like I can withstand a lot of pain. I had a situation where there was a kid that was a lot bigger than me. I think he was like 220 pounds, like just as a guesstimate. And I weigh around like 140, and he was bullying little kids and shit. And I stood up to him and I got my ass beat. I'm not gonna lie, but like just situations like that. Like I've been in a lot of situations like that where it just kind of made me not really fear anybody. To be honest, like I kind of just don't care about anyone unless they have a fucking gun. Unless you're a liberal, I don't fear you.
I don't really fear death much anymore. Um, you know, I had my whole thing um, with the Capitol, and that was pretty intense. But
Ooh, yeah, that's a
yeah, I
good.
kind of lost my fear of death. I don't really know when,
Tell me
but
about the Capitol. How did you get involved with that? And I think you said something about Nick Fuentes, but like tell me the whole story. Like how did that shit go down? How did you get into the Capitol? What did you see?
oh boy, that's a big question. Well, for the most part, I had watched Nick Fuentes, but I had wanted to go to that type of event on my own for a while, and I had been to a couple prior events like the Million MAGA March and stuff like that, a few other things in DC. But for the most part, I just basically went by myself and was just like, you know, I'm just gonna get in there and I'll figure it out. And yeah, it started out, we went to like the Ellipse. I watched the Trump speech, and he was gonna march with us down to the Capitol to do a protest, and I think he never actually ended up doing that. So we all just kind of went to the Capitol, and um, you know, people got kind of rowdy, and shit went down. I was just, you know, I was pretty close to the front, and um, I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while since I've actually thought about it. I somehow made my way to like one of the sides of the buildings, and I didn't do any damage. I didn't fight with any cops. I was in the Capitol for about a total of 6 minutes.
Mm.
But I was the 26th person in the building. But I was right by one of the guys who like broke the window, and I didn't see the guy who climbed into the window and unlocked the door and opened it. I just saw the door opened, and I just walked right in. You know, there was everyone just went in. So, um, you know, I marched around there for a little while, and then I think after a while, I was kind of like, I just got the vibe like wait a minute, this is not good. Like, we probably shouldn't be doing this, and I just kind of left after a while. And then I just went home and watched the news and was seeing everything that was going on. It wasn't until like 2 years after that I started getting doxxed, and the FBI put me on the watch list, or on the wanted page or whatever, because they were trying to find out who I was. But in between that time, I just lived life normally. I just kind of went about with my days as normal. I didn't actually think too much about it.
How was that
And
experience?
then I
Like
just remember,
with seeing that you started getting doxxed and you found out that you're on the watch list. Like, did you tell your family about any of this? Like, what was that like? Were you scared?
I wasn't scared. I kind of knew something it was gonna happen after a while. I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get arrested. I wasn't really scared because I didn't do anything like super bad. Like, I wasn't like fighting with cops or anything like that. You know, the most I did was I walked in basically and walked out. So I didn't think I would get in like a ton of trouble. I knew something would happen. But yeah, I wasn't like overly worried about, oh my god, I'm gonna go to jail for like 10 years. They initially charged me with 4 different crimes. I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't exactly remember what the 4 different ones are. It's on the internet. If people are watching about my docs, they know what they are, but it was, they said the maximum sentence was 4 years in jail, so at that point I was like, oh man,
40?
that's not gonna be good if that happens. I didn't think I would get the maximum, but
God damn.
what I ended up getting was like 30 days in jail, and like 2 years probation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on the no-fly list, so I had the quad S plane tickets everywhere I went. They gave me my own TSA line. They like frisked me everywhere, took out the soles of my shoes, checked them for drugs, took everything out of all my baggages, and patted everything down, tested everything for drugs. They did
How
that
did
at the TSA line, and then also before I boarded the plane. And they also randomly checked other people too, which was crazy, but yeah, flying was terrible.
how did Trump pardon
I
you? Was
haven't
it
flown since. No, it wasn't a personal thing. I think I just got a notice from like the county judiciary or whatever. But yeah, it just said, "Do you pardon? Do you have these crimes will be on your record or whatever?" But that was after I had served all the time and did all the community service, so the pardon really didn't save me from serving the time or anything like that. But it is nice that it's not on my record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pardoned by the president.
What do you think about
I
your
wish it came like in
fans?
like an official letter or something, but what do I think about my fans?
What do you think about your fans? How do you feel about them?
I think they're pretty funny actually. A lot of them are very funny. A lot of them do memes and stuff. They're very rabble-rousy, which I kind of like. I kind of like that mischievous, like, you know, kind of dark internet humor type stuff. You'd be surprised. Some of them are actually, I say some, it's maybe like 1 or 2 are black. I know there's one that I think is in the trans stuff, but, and I've told them the only reason I really have them around is because, number 1, they're funny, and number 2, they support me, and number 3, I want to change their ways. I want to help them get better, you know, and that's probably kind of naive of me, but I think, I think there might be a path to helping them in some way, but who knows?
I think it's
But I
important.
think they're fun.
I heard a speech a while ago. I can't remember exactly who it was that said it, but actually before we started filming this, I put something similar if you don't my status. However you view yourself, you have to carry yourself with the mannerisms of that. For example, like if you're a female watching this video and you wanted to be treated like a princess, then you should carry yourself with the mannerisms of a princess, and then like vice versa. If you're a male and you want to be treated as a prince, then I believe that you should carry yourself with the mannerisms of a prince. So if you are somebody that wants to help people and you see yourself as like some kind of martyr or whatever it is that you want to be, then I believe that you should carry yourself with the mannerisms of that to double down on it. You know what I mean? I feel like that goes a long way.
I basically see myself as the Fuhrer.
When you
But
say when you say
there's the whole
Fuhrer,
kitchen
because
Fuhrer thing.
oh, okay, what is the kitchen Fuhrer? I heard about that. I don't really know what that is.
And it's just a nickname that my previous followers had came up with, and it kind of stuck around. It's just funny, you know, female Hitler, kitchen
Okay.
Fuhrer. It's just a funny joke.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
But
You said that you believe in obviously far right ideologies, and you consider yourself to be, I think it was you said, a true Nazi, but you don't support murder. How does that work?
well, what I said is I don't think I'm a true Nazi because I don't really think the Nazi Party quite exists anymore. But I'm pretty close. You know, what did you say? Like, I don't believe in killing people.
Yeah, you said that you don't believe in. I think it was you. Was it you that said that, or was that taken out of context? I remember seeing somewhere that you said that you don't believe in murder.
Yeah, a tweet that some of them were using to kind of figure out what my beliefs were. But yeah, I mostly agree with a lot of the far right stuff. Yeah, I don't like killing people. So, you know, and I think there can be right wing ideologies in terms of like close to Nazism that isn't killing people. Um, but I do believe with like expelling people, like deporting people. Um, in an ideal world, all the Jews would return to Israel. I don't think that's such a terrible punishment. The Jews want to be in Israel, so. But I would support that if that were realistic. But yeah, I more so try to like hold my right wing beliefs within stuff that is realistically possible. So, but
Do you believe?
yeah, I do agree with most right wing ideologies.
Do you believe that the person who killed Charlie Kirk? Do you believe that he should be executed by a firing squad?
Absolutely, yeah, execute that maniac. I know Erica Kirk forgave him, and she can, but I don't. Um,
Do you think that you have the authority to be able to say that you don't forgive him? Like, do you think that you are somebody that deserves that power? Are you claiming to be God?
I mean, I can just say for me personally, I'm not saying like forgive, like God should
Mhm.
forgive him or whatever. I'm just saying for me personally, but um, you know, I this is what I was gonna say is that you know, a big topic has been political violence. You know, there's been a lot of people who have been like celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder, and a lot of people saying that that is wrong. And I do agree that like random acts of political violence is bad, and you definitely don't want to see that escalating. But I do believe in the same time of like judicial violence. I would say like the state executing people, the state executing criminals. I do believe in that type of violence. Um, so I do believe the killer should be executed in a similar fashion to the crime committed. Firing squad, public firing squad.
Was it you
But
that said that you were Christian? You said you believe in God, correct?
yeah, yeah, I do identify as Christian.
Do you think that those opinions go against the Bible, or do you believe that the Bible would justify killing, or sorry, executing somebody that has committed a heinous crime, such as the person that executed Charlie Kirk, or sorry, murdered Charlie Kirk?
That's a very deep question. I think probably it would go against the Bible, yeah, in some aspects of it. Um, you know, I mean, there's the saying, you know, forgive your enemies, love your neighbor, um, that type of stuff. See, I wouldn't say I'm like the perfect Christian or like the most religious person. I mean, I do like Christianity and I believe in Jesus Christ, and I'm not perfect, but at the same time, I do also believe that the state makes certain laws, and we live in a country, and some laws, even if we don't necessarily totally agree with them, might be necessary.
You said that you're not the perfect Christian. I don't think a perfect Christian exists. I mean, God died on the cross for everybody because everybody
Yeah.
sins. But
Hey, the only perfect Christian is Jesus Christ himself, but
I do believe that, and this isn't to, discredit anything that you believe in. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just curious to, bounce opinions off of each other. I believe, first of all, just by you telling me that, it proves to me that you are self-aware of the fact that murder is wrong. In that argument, wouldn't you think that it would be better to try to at least be a better Christian? Or are you content with who you are?
it is always the ideal thing is to try to lean towards being a better Christian. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's kind of what you strive for every day, right? Is to be a better version of yourself.
So then,
try not to make the same mistake twice.
So then, why would you? And obviously, you can, answer this how you want. But why would you say that you think that murder is necessary in situations like this?
I do also hold the belief that in the eye for an eye type thing, actually, I kind of believe it should be an eye for two eyes. But a lot of people say, like, oh, an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. And it's like, well, that would assume that the whole world is committing a crime, which is not the case. I don't know, I just think we spend too much money taking care of very evil and disturbing people, and it wastes a lot of our tax dollars going to, paying for meals and housing for people who are very evil. And I think it would just be better if we just rapid fire execution of mostly for the most heinous crimes, right? Like assassination, that's a very terrible crime. Like, I don't know, like child rape, stuff like that. Only really the most heinous crimes I kind of believe that for.
So you think our
so
you think our tax dollars should be going to things that are more, like agreed upon, or like things that are more well spent? What would you say that the best thing that the tax dollars could go to are?
That's a good question. The best thing, probably healthcare, I would say. Like, I know a lot of right-wing people are against like government healthcare, but I'm not totally opposed to some base level of healthcare. It just has to be affordable. Like, I think if you took like money from tariffs and stuff like that and used that to fund healthcare, like I don't have too much of a problem with that.
What do you think about? And this could be wrong. I could be complete. Like this could have not happened. This is just something that I heard. So correct me if I'm wrong. But what do you think about Trump ending free lunches for kids in schools across America?
I don't know. I haven't quite thought about that too much. I maybe wouldn't entirely agree with that, because kids, sometimes things are out of a child's control. So that might be a policy that I kind of disagree with him on. There's other ways we can save taxpayer dollars instead of, cutting off meals to kids. So that might be a policy I disagree with him on.
What about with funding the wars in Ukraine and Israel?
Yeah, definitely disagree on that. Yeah, we definitely should not be funding missiles to Israel. Like, I think it was recently said that Trump is going to raise the age of Social Security to avoid the system going bankrupt, which I think instead of maybe sending missiles to Israel, we could put that into Social Security. That might make a little bit more sense, you know, versus making it harder to retire. How about we just stop sending missiles to Israel? How about we start there, you know? So I definitely disagree with funding foreign wars. And yeah, funding Ukraine wars. It's all totally disagree with foreign aid. If it were up to me, we would cut off foreign aid entirely.
Why do you believe that we send money to fund wars, like the ones that are happening right now in Ukraine and as well as Israel?
In cases, I mean, that's not belief. I mean, they literally are. I mean,
Yeah. I was asking. The question was, why, like, why are we sending money to Israel? Like, why?
I mean, because the people in power right now believe that Israel is our ally, which I don't think they are. They've had some things that they've done against us. You know, there could be. That's a kind of a long list to get into, but you know,
Do you know about the USS Enterprise?
USS Liberty
Oh,
and things
sorry,
like that.
Liberty. Yeah, not the Enterprise. That was my bad. But yeah, the USS Liberty.
Yeah.
I saw an episode by Candace Owens where she actually got a veteran from that ship on the podcast, and that was the most interesting shit that I ever listened to in my whole life.
Really? I don't think I've seen that. I'll have to watch that. That sounds
Look up
interesting.
Candace Owens USS Liberty if you guys are interested. Good video, good watch. It's pretty long, but it's worth the watch.
I think, yeah, I just think that, you know, we shouldn't be so tied to Israel. Like, they're just another foreign country. You know, there's a lot of, like, anti-free speech laws that they're passing about, like, anti-Semitism. Like, you should be free to criticize any foreign country, especially Israel. So, you know, a lot of that stuff I just don't like.
The reason that we are... Ooh, this is... I might get silenced for saying this. The reason that we are so tightly knit with Israel is because they are quite literally the reason that we are able to have like so much, what's it called? I think it's cybersecurity. I believe they run the world in cybersecurity. You can look that up if you want to fact check me, but I'm pretty sure they do.
The technology that comes out of Israel is you could argue it is good technology in terms of like the technological aspect of not so much on how it's used, but yeah, they do kind of lead the world in some of those areas.
Do you know why China wants Taiwan?
Oh yeah, they want to take control of the whole semiconductor industry. For sure. They basically would have a monopoly on microchips if they capture Taiwan.
It's
that
interesting.
Would not be good for us.
It's interesting that a lot of people don't know these things. I've learned. I kind of like this episode a lot. Actually, we should do podcasts more. I feel like I'm on an episode of Joe Rogan right now.
Yeah, about yeah, right. I do kind of like talking about world politics and stuff like that. I think it's more interesting than just playing video games.
For sure.
But yeah, it definitely matters. Like, I've seen some people get like too obsessed with it to the point where they're like stressing out all the time and they can't like do anything in real life. And I think that, you don't want to get too stressed out with it. I think it's okay to know about like what's going on and just be educated about it, but you can't let it like totally control your life.
Yeah,
I've
definitely.
Fall into that.
Yeah, I have too. I've been somebody that fell into it before, but yeah, as long as I like you said, just kind of keep it at bay and know that low key there's kind of nothing that we can do about it. I think that's kind of how you just keep yourself level headed. You gotta stay selfish.
Yeah, definitely. I think
in some aspects.
Yeah, you gotta realize you're just a singular individual. If you can't make change in it, there's no sense in getting like super worried about it. You're better off just making changes about things you can control in your daily life, you know, like whether you're taking care of yourself, whether you're living in a clean situation, and just taking care of your normal responsibilities is sometimes better than freaking out about politics all the time.
I kind of wanted to touch onto the fentanyl crisis that's currently happening, but I feel like is that something that's kind of common knowledge at
Mm-hmm.
this point, or do a lot of people still not know about that?
I think it is kind of common knowledge. I mean, I don't really know too much of what I would say about it.
Do you know
Other
who's
than like,
supplying
yeah,
the
it's bad.
fentanyl?
It's the Chinese for sure. That shit comes straight from China.
I think it's interesting that
Same with heroin, pretty much.
they technically aren't supplying cocaine to the United States. They're supplying the ingredients to Mexico, and the cartels are making it.
That is
And
true.
then I remember, I forget which episode it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but I remember he said that the cartels were getting cute because Trump made the southern border so strict that they flew it over to the Canadian border, and now they're using those entry
Okay,
points
yeah.
to get it in.
Yeah, they're always gonna have some kind of crafty way to do it, but you know, I agree with the border wall. If it makes their lives harder, go for it. We need a wall. We gotta keep all the Mexicans out. And it's not just Mexicans. I mean, like people from all different countries come into the southern border, or used to rather, and that's dangerous too.
I don't know how I want to respond to that. That's a tricky one for sure.
Do you agree with the southern border?
I hmm. What about the southern border am I agreeing with?
Well, like, do you agree with like stopping it illegal immigration?
I feel like that's common sense. I feel like everybody should agree to that.
Okay.
I don't agree with
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's kind of
I would
fucked
say
up.
that is common sense, but a lot of people don't, surprisingly.
Yeah. I think what's fucked up, and it's definitely a little bit of a gray area, is when like families are getting separated, and also like we're shipping people out to like death camps. I don't know if you know about that. I think it's I don't know if it's really been proven yet, so I kind of might sound like a schizo right now. But the what was it called? The camp in El Salvador,
Death camps.
the El Salvadorian prison.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite say it's a death camp, but it's not a good place.
Did you see there was somebody that went on like Google Maps and like went above the camp, and there was like a pile of like red. They weren't really able to confirm what it was, but
I did
something
not see that.
something that's interesting is everybody who gets sent to that El Salvadorian prison, nobody makes it out, yet they're constantly accepting new inmates. So it makes you wonder like what's happening to them.
Yeah, I don't quite know exactly what happens after they go in there. Um, you know, some people are very bad people. I mean, a lot of those MS-13 cartel gang members, I mean, they've killed hundreds of people. They, you know, kill people in the worst ways. You know, they keep them alive and slice off their skin and all types of terrible ways to
But
kill
that's
people.
I
You
see
know,
what
those
you're
people are
saying.
truly evil monsters.
I see what you're saying 100%, but no system is perfect, and I think it's really fucked up that some innocent people get sent there.
If anybody specifically innocent getting sent there. But
There was
I mean, if that does happen, yeah, there's always going to be cracks, I think, in any system, and yeah, that's just an unfortunate nature of reality, I think. Innocent people sometimes go to jail in our own country for a long time. Like, that has happened.
yeah, that's true. But
So, I mean,
but I feel like the living situation is in our country is a lot better than it is in El Salvador.
oh, definitely.
Matter of
I
fact,
mean,
actually,
our
this is a good
prisons are a lot
topic.
nicer than that.
This is a really good topic. Have you seen the prisons in Sweden or Finland?
I was just gonna ask you about that. That's kind of funny. Yeah, they're like fucking hotels, essentially.
What do you think about prisons that believe in reforming people over locking people up like animals? Do you think that would you agree that America should focus more on reforming criminals or caging them?
it depends on the crime. Like, I think for more, like, drug-related crimes, that would be better to focus on, like, reforming them, because that can be overcome. But if it's, like, you've killed people, yeah, lock them away like animals. I think it depends a little bit, but yeah, the Swiss definitely believe in the reform. I mean, I think their prison system is very expensive. The Swiss have a very unique governmental setup to. They've figured out a way to be able to afford that type of system. So I think if your country can afford certain things, I don't have a problem with it. It's the problem comes when we can't afford these things and we're, stifling the lives of people who deserve help to take care of like criminals and stuff. Like they gotta fix the government system before we, start spending more and more money on those types of things.
I think it's really interesting that you keep like, what's it called? Honestly, I feel like you're on the fence about murder because you claim that you don't support it, but then multiple times in this, I guess you could call this an interview or podcast or whatever you want to call it, you have said that you believe that people should be killed. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe in capital punishment. But yeah, there is a little bit of a conflict with my Christian beliefs in that, for sure. I don't have all the answers in regard to that totally, but it is interesting. There's nuance to it.
I think that karma exists. I wouldn't necessarily say that I believe in like justifying murder in like any sense. However, I do believe that people will get what's coming to them. Not to say that obviously Charlie Kirk got what was coming to him. However, his wife did make it apparent many times that he said that he gave his life to Jesus completely, and she believes that Jesus thought that that was his time.
Yeah, I do believe in God's timing. I mean, in some sense, if you think about it, it's like they couldn't have picked a better person to kill, right? Like, he was one of the better people in the right-wing political space, so in a way, he's kind of the perfect martyr, I think. It's kind of interesting to think about that, but yeah, because I don't know, if somebody, I don't want to say other people, think about other people getting killed, but I think he was one of the best ones in the right-leaning movement. Being true to his faith and just all around being a generally a good person. I mean, a great person. So I do believe in God's timing, and in a way, like, it made him immortal, like he'll be remembered forever essentially now. So I mean, maybe in a way we kind of needed something like this to pull the country together. It's kind of crazy to say something like that, but
it's really interesting that when 9/11 happened, everybody kind of, I've heard the quote a lot that like the world stopped, right? And everybody kind of came together. And obviously like America is divided, but I do think that I for sure felt almost a comparison to that. And it's ironic that it happened on September 10th, the day before 9/11. I feel like the world stopped again.
That is true. You actually weren't alive for 9/11, were you?
I was not.
I was very young, but yeah, I still remember that day. And yeah, the world definitely did stop. And I think it also stopped for Charlie Kirk. I remember, when I saw the video of it happening, I just didn't know what to do. I immediately started praying. I'm like, please God, save Charlie Kirk. If there's anybody we need to save right now, please just save Charlie Kirk. But I mean, it wasn't meant to be, and
it's good that he went out very quickly and he didn't suffer.
Yeah, I am very glad to hear that. Yeah, it's not a great way to go, but at least it was quick. Um, but yeah, he was a good man. He was a good father. He did not deserve that, you know. But I do also believe in God's timing. You know, he lived more of a life than many of us will do in our entire lives. So
For sure.
it was quick, but he got a lot done. You know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he literally, like his wife said, he left with unfinished work, but not unfinished business.
Yeah, totally. That was a brilliant quote.
Um, do I have anything
Not,
else I want to
let's see.
ask? I think we've touched, honestly, I think we've touched a lot of good points. I've been filming
Touched on a
already.
good amount of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we're at like an hour and 10 minutes right now. Ooh, okay, actually,
Do you want to talk about your plans?
with what?
Like for your stuff?
Um, I run a couple different music accounts. And I wouldn't say that I necessarily have a plan in my head. However, I think really like my goal in life, and I believe this really should be everyone's goal in life, is honestly to start a family. Like that's really just my goal in life. I wouldn't say that I have any definitive plans with content creation or anything like that, but with Guapo, I kind of made Guapo like a very controversial figure because I wanted to be able to touch on subjects like these because I believe as an artist, my job is to be able to like push people's buttons and make people question things. As as Marilyn Manson said, actually, shout out Marilyn Manson. I don't know if you know who that is or anything really about him, but I really like
I
Marilyn
do,
Manson
yeah.
and his beliefs.
Yeah, he's very interesting. Yeah, I do think sometimes you gotta be controversial to get, you know, to get anywhere in the digital space. I mean, you know, sometimes you gotta push the edges. I know I definitely do that and have done that. And, you know, you get a lot of hate, but in some sense it works to help people who are interested in what you're doing find you. Um,
I kind of
you know, so I do believe in somewhat being controversial for the most part.
I had a shower thought earlier before we started recording this podcast. I was thinking about like how the internet wasn't really ever supposed to be a thing, and before the internet, and like honestly, even before these times, we had like kingdoms and shit like that, right? And really, all that society knew
Yeah,
was like there was one king, and like you just listened to that person and you followed that person, and that was it, right? I kind of almost believe that that's
yeah,
how social media is in a sense. Like we are the kings of our own kingdom. Like our social media is our fucking page. We have the ability to do whatever we want on it and preach whatever we want to preach. And obviously, we have to deal with the consequences if those things aren't good. But at the same time, if we genuinely believe that we're helping people and yeah, if we genuinely believe that we're helping people and we're garnering a fan base, regardless on what other people outside of the kingdom think about it, who the fuck cares? This is my kingdom. Like, you can't come in here.
yeah. Interesting way to put it. I don't think I've quite heard that before. But yeah, that is kind of what it's like. You're building up your little kingdom, in a sense. So yeah, I would agree with that. You know, some people might say that what I'm doing sometimes isn't necessarily helping people, but that's kind of like what I like to focus on more is like positive aspects of things. Yeah, my political positions can definitely lead to dark places, but I think there's also good aspects about it too, and those are things that I tend to try to focus on. Like I've used this example before, which is like there has to be some way that Hitler was able to bring Germany out of a huge depression and make it a giant economic powerhouse. You can't tell me all that was pure evil.
The
You know,
interesting,
was the
the
Holocaust
interesting thing.
bad? Yeah,
Mm, sorry,
but a lot of leaders have killed people. You know,
I was gonna say the interesting thing
so
about Hitler is I actually don't think that Hitler ever killed a person like with his own hands. Like I think he wasn't responsible
I
for
don't
the
think I've
deaths
ever heard of it.
of anybody, but his followers were. And I mean, it's kind of interesting to think about. Like, now I'm not saying that Hitler was a good person by any means. Do not twist that out of context. But I'm curious to think about, like,
No, of course not.
did Hitler even know what was going on, or was it just the people that were following him that were like fucking? And also, too, also with that being said, obviously Hitler was on fucking meth. Who was supplying him with the meth? They obviously knew about the effects of it, right? So were they using that to like fuck with his mind?
Yeah,
And
they well, they supplied a lot of the infantry with meth when they went to war. So I mean,
his generals did,
they
yeah.
basically had a national meth operation. Um, but yeah, there is some truth to that, to where like the leaders don't necessarily directly know exactly what's going on all the time. I think you could definitely see that a lot in Trump's first administration, which is like, you know, he put people in certain positions of power and they didn't do what he wanted and things didn't turn out how he wanted and he had to fire certain people. Um, and yeah, there are definitely secrets that I think that certain agencies don't even tell the president. Um, you know, so it
I
is an
think
interesting thing to think about.
I think we should have an episode 2. I think we should keep doing these because there's so
Yeah.
much more shit that I want to talk about. But we've only been going on for. I mean, no, we've been going on for an hour and 15 minutes. I feel like this is a good stopping point. But I want to keep doing this.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
agree.
like this.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun doing this. It's always, I think it's a lot more fun to have somebody to kind of bounce ideas back and forth off versus just, you know, trying to talk about stuff on your own. It definitely makes it easier. I think it's more fun.
Um, Now obviously, before I end this, I do want to end this again with saying that everything that's talked about here are just opinions. Um, I don't hate anybody. I believe genuinely that literally everybody has the ability to change, and it's really just like it's on you, honestly. Um, you can leave watching this video angry, you can leave watching this video sad, or you can leave watching this video with a clear head and like a new way to look at the world and how to view things. But I was never like nothing. None of my points in this video were meant to call anybody out specifically. I genuinely just wanted to, I guess, touch on things that people are starting to, um, I guess, wake up to, like the new woke. This is the new woke. So yeah, I just want to kind of refresh in those things that I guess Kirk was doing. To be honest, I wanna continue to spread his message. Um, yeah, that's really
Yeah,
all
and
I had to
I've
say.
said it before with like stuff that I do is that my opinions are my own. You know, just because we collab doesn't necessarily mean we believe and agree with everything with each other. You know, but I think it's more interesting to maybe try to find those common grounds where we can, and I think it's worth having the discussion, even if you don't like certain people.
For sure, yeah,
You know, in wake of Charlie Kirk's death, we definitely need to talk about things more. I think that's clear.
yeah.
But just because we're talking doesn't mean we endorse everything each other believes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I really don't care if people believe in that. That's kind of their fault. It's not really, not. It's not my fucking responsibility to force people to like, you know what I mean, figure out everything. But like, you
Yeah,
know,
that is true.
it's on you guys to form your own opinions.
Think for yourselves, think critically. Don't just listen to the mainstream media or some celebrity's opinion, you know. Think, second guess everything. That's what I always say, you know. Second
Yeah,
guess everything.